we've got to make a kettle. That's what we're here to do. And to make a kettle, we need some cast iron. And to cast iron, we need a furnace.
A blast furnace is basically a big brick oven. Put in iron ore, rock which contains the metal iron, then get the furnace really hot, and the ore breaks down, producing pure molten iron.
Sounds easy, doesn't it? And I thought, yeah, it can't be rocket science, can it? But apparently it is. Apparently it's brain surgery. Or would you put brain surgery above rocket science? Would you? Would you?
In fact, smelting iron is so hard the boys wouldn't stand a chance on their own. So they've recruited archaeometallurgist Jerry McDonnell to take on the role of foreman.
So we've got our man Jerry down here. He's going to give us a bit of direction to turn iron ore into a bit of cast, just a bit like our man Abraham Darby. I don't know, it's 1700s, early 1700s. He started smelting iron ore on a commercial scale, like a massive scale. I mean, you've only got to look here. I mean, that's like a big steam hammer. You know, and all this stuff is really down to Abraham Darby.
Darby's furnaces made iron for machinery, bridges and ships. And Guy and Maeve will make a small but accurate version of a Darby furnace. It will need to reach a temperature of over 1,000 degrees to turn this iron ore into molten metal.
What we're going to do is we're going to basically build a small square shaft, basically, out of these bricks, about that high, with an opening at the front here, for which the iron hopefully will run out of. But what we must make sure is that the bricks are really nicely, tightly together, because it's got to be airtight, OK?
Right.
Before Abraham Darby came along, cast iron makers were facing a big problem.
Towards the end of the 1600s, basically, the blast furnaces are closing down because they can't get enough charcoal fuel. And they're using charcoal because charcoal's a very clean fuel.
Yes.
You use it on your barbecue, yeah? Now, if you went home and tried to cook a barbecue with lumps of coal, your food would taste disgusting. So if you tried to go and smelt your iron with coal, which was plentiful,
yes,
you'd put sulphur into the metal, it would make it brittle, and nobody would want to use it.
Right.
OK? So they'd tried and failed.
What Darby did was invent a process for fueling furnaces with coke. Essentially coal minus the impurities, so it burns cleaner and hotter. That led to better quality cast iron being produced and truly revolutionised industry. Britain could now mass produce anything from a small pot to massive factories and machinery.
What do you reckon, Jerry?
Well, we're about a quarter of the way up.
Right.
So once we get this in...
It will move faster, yeah.
It's ready to be topped up with purified coal known as coke, which will hopefully help produce enough molten iron to cast a kettle.
Morning, boss. She's looking well.
Isn't she? What do you reckon?
By heck.
That's what hard work does.
Yeah, but I tell you what.
What do you reckon?
Chief, I'm impressed. I'm in awe.
In awe? How very fitting.
Ah. So, Jerry, what do you reckon? Is she going to work?
Yeah, no, really pleased, because we managed to get a good fire in her last night that's burnt all night, so she's really hot.
By heck, I'm going to get in the suntan off that. Hey?
I'm losing weight.
So what exactly are we expecting?
We'll get coke right up to the top, and once it's aflame and on fire all the way up to the top, then we start adding the ore and the coke, and that basically starts to go down. So we keep adding more ore and coke, and that's going down, and all the magic that happens in the furnace is happening basically in that zone there.
Right, yeah.
And what will run out of there, hopefully about 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, will be a stream or a run of molten iron.
Molten iron? Enough to make us kettle?
Well, I need to talk to you about that, because we're not going to... We can't make...
You're not letting the sign down here.
A kettle's too complicated. And also, in Abraham Darby's time, they didn't have kettles.
Is that
so they
right?
had just basically a little cauldron-y type thing, so a bowl, basically.
Right, to heat on what?
You just hang that over a fire.
Over a fire, right.
So, having abandoned the idea of a kettle, the boys will now be aiming to cast a replica of an original Darby pot. But if they stand any chance of producing molten iron, they have to get the temperature in the furnace right up by blasting air into it. In Darby's day, this would have been done with a set of bellows. The boys are going to use an electric pump instead.
All right. What's the temperature now, then? See what the temperature's doing. Look at that, straight away. Straight away.
I told you, didn't I? Look at it go. It was just creeping up sort of a degree at a time.
Look at this now.
Look at it going.
It was going like 0.1, 0.2 at a time.
Tell you what, boy.
It's like the clappers. Listen to it.
The dog has seen the rabbit. That is wham.
So, Jerry, we're knocking on nicely now, boss.
Yeah.
930, it's climbing steady.
Excellent.
Do you want some more coal on?
Yeah, but wait. You must put on some safety because that's... No, that is too hot. Because if you read the history books, it's littered with blokes who end up in hospital. So get some eye protection on for certain.
I'll see where you're coming from, boss. I'll see where you're coming from.
With the furnace now loaded with coke right to the top, it's finally time to start feeding the iron ore in.
So what we've got to add in, each time, we're going to add in 1 kilo of ore. So that is just a kilo of ore there.
So we're doing that now?
In a minute. And that is 4 kilos of coke. So we need half a bucket to one of these.
Right, 2 to 1.
Now this is where things start to get technical. They say smelting iron is as delicate as making a souffle.
Look at your butterfingers.
To create the right conditions is absolutely crucial to get the right ratio of coke and ore, while making sure the temperature in the furnace is kept high enough.
It's a bit like a big cauldron, isn't it?
Oh, I like this, boy. I like it.
Any mistakes and the iron will be useless.
When we start to add the iron ore, we're actually adding oxygen, because there's oxygen trapped in the ore, so the flame might change colour a bit. So we've got to keep it blue.